Hey everyone, welcome back to Pinned on Places and back to our last leg of our South Wales walking tour series. Today we are visiting a formidable castle surrounded by two huge lakes and located in the centre of the town of Caerphilly, which is roughly a 25-minute car journey from Cardiff, just to visit the famous and striking Caerphilly Castle. Please join us as we wander through and give you the history behind how this amazing castle was formed. Caerphilly Castle is one of the great medieval castles of Western Europe. Several factors give it this title. Firstly, its immense size of over 30 acres, making it the largest in Britain after Windsor. Secondly, its large-scale use of water for defence. And also not forgetting the fact that it is the first truly concentric castle in Britain. The meaning and example behind concentric is a style of building which rendered castles virtually impenetrable. Of the time of its building in the late 13th century, it was a revolutionary masterpiece of military planning, and it stands comparison and influence with even the mightiest of castles built by Edward I after 1276. One of Henry III's most powerful and ambitious barons, Gilbert de Clare, Lord of Glamorgan, built this castle beginning in 1268. His purpose was to secure the area and prevent lowland South Wales from falling into the hands of the Welsh leader Prince Llewellyn I, who controlled most of the mid and North Wales. De Clare built other castles on the northern fringes of his territory for the same purpose. De Clare died in 1295 and the estates were passed on to his son, who was also called Gilbert. He was killed at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, which ended the De Clare male line. We were blown away when walking through the Great Hall. It is so lavish and beautiful. If you look above the table, you can just about see the wooden gallery, where back in the day, you would have had some musicians or entertainers who would play above there, as the acoustics inside were really quite impressive. The interior of Hugh Despencer's Great Hall is embellished with colourful decorations and heated by a large centrally located fireplace, placed between two pairs of large grand windows. You can definitely see why this room would have hosted some elegant dining parties back then. On the south side, as you wander through the inner ward of the Great Hall, are the state apartments. The large ground floor hall, which was evidently a sumptuous building, was remodelled by Despencer in 1322 and then was restored in the late 19th century. Originally, the timber roof was lower, carried on the four carved corbels still in place in the south wall. He brought in the best craftsmen, who raised the roof and gave the four windows a decorated rich glass moulding. The door was treated in the same way, and the whole building was faced with finely dressed stone. The two doors at the east end led to a buttery and a cellar, possibly with a small chapel above them. To the west were the state apartments, which were well-appointed rooms with fireplaces. One of the great moments here of being able to walk through the tunnels when crossing from the southwest tower to the northwest. You can see how well covered the castle was, and the strength was normally indicated by the presence of the numerous heavy closing gates surrounding the ruins. It is a very pure example of late 13th century military architecture. The south and north lakes around the castle formed an almost impossible barrier to attackers. The dams themselves are a major achievement of medieval engineering, which brings us to our next stop on the way around the castle, the infamously named Welsh Tower of Pisa. That is the medieval tower which leans 10 degrees to the vertical, most likely because of subsidence and landslide, which has resulted in the tower in gaping cracks, which also gnaw through many of the other castle towers. But most impressively, you are unsure when looking up at it just how it hangs there, though it's honestly so cool, worth a look in person as the cameras just don't do it justice. In the southern part of the second floor, there was a small two-bay cross-vaulted room, accessible from a spiral staircase. It could have been a small chapel or a storage room for valuables, from which a small window within the large main chamber could be seen from below. A small treasury would have been indicated by bars in the window, 2 arrow slits on the south side, and 2 doors in front of the staircase. To be walking around in the hall is so amazing how large the rooms are. You can imagine it back in the day with tapestries and wall hangings that would make the place so much more cosier and magnificent for guests. We were then led back to the spiral staircase that took us up to roof level for panoramic views of the beautiful Welsh hills, which encircle this patch of flat land. And it also gives you a neat overview of the anglers fishing in the 2 huge moats below, and a bird's eye view of 4 more gatehouses, 3 mighty towers, 2 rings of curtain wall, and 1 impressive great hall. It's one of those moments that you really should experience. castle was particularly interesting as it was built at breakneck speed. The vast majority was built in just 3 years between 1268 and 1271. I think the fact that the builders managed this more than 700 years ago makes Caerphilly quite remarkable. As you exit out of the tower, you are presented with the inner ward and courtyard from above, giving your imagination thought of what it would have been like back in the day. You can also see a central well, and it is now used as a picnic area with restrooms located behind the Great Hall. To the north side of the gatehouse was the North Dam, protected by 3 substantial towers, which may have supported the castle stables, but currently on display is a wooden palisade, suggesting another defensive location, where peasants and military units could utilise vantage points to rain arrows, stones and various liquids down on invading enemies. There are bags of information dotted around in most of the rooms, and they include some audio-visual exhibits. You can follow and listen to them on your phone to their digital tours. Some of the audio exhibits include a projection of a fire in the Great Hall, which helps to bring the castle alive. And you can watch a short film based in one of the towers that Cadu have kindly made for your visit. It's worth noting that the site is aimed at catering for children too, with fun activities along the way for them to discover. A trip to Caerphilly Castle is a must-do on our list of places to visit if you are travelling to or around Wales. We really enjoyed having you join us on our walk today, and I would love it if you could tell us your thoughts too. As usual, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, why not consider hitting that button and even popping the notification bell on so you can be sure to be notified when our next video is up. We love what we do and we also enjoy sharing it with you. Up on our next video, we are heading a little bit closer to home at Netley Abbey. Be sure to check back for updates and videos soon. Till next time.